There are cities in America that were built on one thing, one industry, one economic engine, one idea of what the future was supposed to look like. And when that thing disappears, the city usually follows. You've seen it before. Factories close, jobs vanish, people leave, and what's left behind slowly fades. That's the story most people expected for Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh wasn't just connected to steel. It was steel. For decades, this city defined an entire industry. Massive mills, endless production, a skyline shaped by smoke and industry. If Detroit was cars, Pittsburgh was steel. And at its peak, it worked. In fact, it worked incredibly well. This was one of the richest industrial cities in America, a place where working-class jobs created middle-class lives, where entire neighborhoods were built around the rhythm of the mills, where generations didn't just live in Pittsburgh, they depended on it. Then the collapse came, and it wasn't subtle. It wasn't slow enough to ignore. It was sharp, brutal, the kind of economic shift that doesn't just change a city, it shocks it. Because by the late 20th century, the global economy had changed. Steel production was no longer dominated by American cities. Competition increased, costs mattered more, production moved. And suddenly, the industry that built Pittsburgh started disappearing. Mills closed. Not one or two, many of them. Jobs didn't just decline, they vanished. Tens of thousands, gone. And when that happens in a city built around a single industry, the consequences are immediate. Unemployment rises, people leave, businesses shut down, tax revenue collapses, everything starts to contract. And Pittsburgh went through all of it. Population dropped significantly. Neighborhoods changed. Entire areas lost their purpose. For a while, it looked like the city was heading in the same direction as others in the Rust Belt. Places that never fully recovered. Places that became symbols of decline. And if you were watching from the outside, that assumption made sense. Because the pattern was familiar. Industry disappears. City declines. Story ends. Except in Pittsburgh, it didn't. And that's the part that makes it different. Because instead of collapsing completely, Pittsburgh did something most industrial cities struggle to do. It adapted. Not quickly, not perfectly, but intentionally. And that made all the difference. Because the city didn't try to replace steel with another single industry. That's where many places go wrong. They look for a direct substitute, something equally dominant, something equally powerful. Pittsburgh didn't do that. Instead, it diversified. Healthcare became a major pillar. Universities expanded their influence. Technology slowly grew. Education, research, and medical sectors started replacing what heavy industry once provided. And those industries behave differently. They're not tied to one global commodity. They're not as vulnerable to the same type of collapse. They're more stable, more flexible, more future-focused. And over time, that stability matters. But economic change alone doesn't save a city. There's something else that Pittsburgh had, something that often gets overlooked: infrastructure. Because like many older industrial cities, Pittsburgh was built for a larger population than it has today, which means it has established roads, bridges, transit systems, dense urban neighborhoods, major institutions already in place. So when the population declined, the city didn't need to build everything from scratch again. It already had the foundation, and that gives it an advantage. Because rebuilding from something is easier than rebuilding from nothing. Then there's geography. Pittsburgh sits in a unique position. Connected, accessible, not isolated, which matters more than people think. Because cities that are completely cut off struggle to attract new growth. Pittsburgh isn't cut off. It's connected to regional economies, to other major cities, to supply chains. That helps. Then there's culture. And this one is harder to measure, but just as important. Pittsburgh never lost its identity, even during decline. It didn't become generic, didn't try to rebrand itself into something it wasn't. It stayed Pittsburgh. Blue-collar roots, strong local pride, distinct neighborhoods. That kind of identity matters because it gives people something to connect to, something to stay for, something to rebuild around. Now, this doesn't mean the city avoided hardship. Far from it. The transition was painful. Years of economic adjustment, years of uncertainty, years where it wasn't clear what the future looked like. But unlike some cities, that period eventually led somewhere. It didn't just stall, it shifted. And slowly, very slowly, things started improving. Not dramatically, not in a way that made national headlines, but steadily. And steady improvement is often more sustainable than rapid growth, because it's based on real change, not hype, not speculation, not short-term trends, real structural adjustment. Now fast forward to today. Pittsburgh isn't booming like Austin. It's not exploding like some Sunbelt cities. And that's actually part of the story. Because it doesn't need to. It's stable, functional, balanced. A city that went through collapse and found a different way forward. Healthcare systems are major employers. Universities drive innovation. Tech companies have a presence. The economy is diversified, and that diversification protects it. Because no single industry can bring the entire city down the way steel once did. That's the lesson, and it's a big one. Because what happened to Pittsburgh isn't just about one city. It's about how cities survive change. Some don't. Some try to recreate the past. Some wait for industries to return that never will. Pittsburgh didn't do that. It moved forward, even when forward wasn't obvious, even when it wasn't easy. Now, let's be honest. The city isn't perfect. No comeback story is. Population is still lower than its historical peak. Some neighborhoods still struggle. Growth is not evenly distributed. And yes, winters are still very real. That hasn't changed. But compared to where it was, the difference is undeniable. And that's why Pittsburgh stands out. Not because it avoided collapse. It didn't. But because it refused to stay there. Because when the industry that built the city disappeared, Pittsburgh didn't disappear with it. It adapted, rebuilt, reshaped itself into something different, something more resilient. And that's not something every city manages to do. Which is why people keep coming back to this story. Because it challenges the assumption that once a city falls, it stays down. Pittsburgh proves that's not always true, but it also shows something else. Comebacks aren't dramatic. They're not instant. They don't look impressive at first. They're slow, messy, uneven, and easy to overlook while they're happening. Until one day, you look at the city again and realize it's still standing. And not just standing, functioning, evolving, moving forward, in its own way. And that's something most people didn't expect, which is exactly why Pittsburgh matters. Not as a perfect success story, but as proof that even after one of the biggest industrial collapses in American history, a city can survive if it's willing to change.